Welcome back to the KTP podcast, the show where we explore careers, insights, and everything in between. Each episode, we tackle a new topic to help you grow, learn, and stay ahead of your professional journey. Let's jump right into it.
Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of season 2 for the KTTP podcast, and we have Ashkan Zadeh today. He's the co-founder of Intern Insider, and he's currently a student at UBC in computer science. And we're really excited to have him on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me on, guys. You can just call me Ash. So you guys already know, it makes it a little easier. But I'm a fourth year CS student, and yeah, I've been building Intern Insider for a year. And quick, like one-liner on it, we help students land internships.
Heck yeah, man.
Solid, man. Yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, how did you get started building things? Like, can you tell us more about your journey so far?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely not a linear path. Until grade 12, I wanted to become a dentist. Then my last year of high school, I was like, oh, I hate biology. So I took programming 12. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I got into the whole field of computer science. And in my first year, I met my current co-founder, Kaz, who you guys already know as too. Him and one of our friends came up to me, and then they were like, oh, we're actually going to we want to do this clothing brand. It was called Explicit Wear. It was a terrible idea, but it was supposed to be album QR codes on hoodies, which was like a way for you to socialize as a first year in university, because music is like a big topic that you talk to people about when you try to get to know them. So that was the idea. That's how we started. And I had absolutely I wasn't doing anything on that business because Jasmine was doing the design, Kaz was doing website. I was just emailing Little Uzi Vert's label because I had no idea what to do. I was just trying to buy the copyrights. So that's kind of where it started off from. And it was terribly unsuccessful. We had one sale, and it was me buying our own clothing brand. And we lost money on it because Kaz did the math wrong. So we lost $3. So that's where it started off as. It was unsuccessful, but it was a lot of fun. So I guess in a chase for that, for more of that fun, we were just constantly trying to come up with new stuff to do, because it was kind of like a mini hacker house in a residence basement. We were just there in a room working for 5-6 hours, and it was just a lot of fun. You're hanging out with friends, but you're also doing something useful. So then from there we had a lot of really bad ideas again. We even at one point, so we really tried everything. Then when the buzzword AI was going around, we tried to do AI consulting. We always would have this idea. We would hop on Wix, make a website, don't actually really fall through with it. We would make a Wix website, order a t-shirt, and then just work on it for a few hours, for a couple of days. And it was just a lot of fun. It's just chasing that high of oh, we have an idea. It's oh, we think we're gonna be millionaires now. We're just working on it. And so again, honestly, just the same storyline. This was about a year ago. I was in Toronto. I was doing my internship, and my friend Kaz flew to Toronto to come visit me, and we were just thinking about oh, what should we start next? And through one of his previous experiences, he got to experience with newsletters. He did some work with newsletters, and he realized that, oh, there's a big market for it. And we kind of at the time labeled it as the next drop shipping, that oh, it's actually it's one of those things that you don't know about too much, but there's actually there's a big business there. So we were thinking, oh, what would we open personally? If I was to receive a newsletter, what would it be for me to have to open it? It was oh, it could be music, it could be basketball news, but it was just who opens a newsletter, an email newsletter to read about basketball updates? You would probably be on Instagram. And we saw the post on LinkedIn where every LinkedIn influencer at the time was spamming, come in your email and I'll send you this list of 500 new internships, and everyone was commenting their email. It's I even saw this guy, Google released their software engineering internship, comment your email, I'll send you the link. And it had 10,000 comments. Just grab that exact text, put it in Google, and you can find it. And what we realized was that doesn't matter how many resources are out there, the internship market or the internship scene is so competitive right now that students will always opt into more things. So the idea was simple, us just documenting our journey, finding internships, and then it started evolving from there.
No, man, that's definitely very real. Thanks for sharing that journey. But I just want to probe a little bit more. So you shared a lot of things there, right? You were just having fun, building new stuff with your friends, and suddenly you popped onto this idea that was Intern Insider, right? So along that journey, I want to know from you, what are the most important skills you think you learned, or you think a founder, a creator should have, right? Is it maybe enjoying actually the building process, could be just spending time with your friends, or is it actually working towards something you think might be someday tangible?
the most important thing that's like it's like very basic, but like the core skill of entrepreneur should have is just actually just like building it. It's like so simple to say, but I wanted to just become a senior software engineer at Google. I had no entrepreneurial like pursuits, like nothing like that. But then I met Kaz, and it was so interesting to me that he had a really bad idea, but he would go make it. Like he just didn't care. Like it's kind of like what is like the downside? Like, oh, you have school. Well, you can find time. It's like you have the weekends. You can just yeah, just build really bad ideas. That's kind of like the main thing that I've been trying to do is like if you have bad ideas, like build them. And I wish like if I was to like talk to like a first year university student or high schooler, build a lot of bad products. Like that's kind of what I would say.
Yeah,
And that is the main thing is like everyone in university like, oh, we want to do something, but like I'm trying to like, oh, like we'll get a job, make some money, and then once I have free time, I'll build it. And everyone kind of says that. So if that was true, then we would have more, I guess, founders than like employees at companies.
100%.
University is the perfect time to start things, and yeah, just start it. That's kind of like the main skill that I would say, or not skill, it maybe more of a trait that you would have.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've achieved pretty good success with Intern Insider so far. You guys are about 50,000 plus students signed up for the newsletter. Very impressive. So
Yeah.
how do you see the startup world or, this like indie hacker kind of culture changing over the next 5 years or so? Like, are you excited about anything to watch out for with, generative AI?
So I'll like break it into two parts. One, just the actual community itself. There's a really, really big shift towards student entrepreneurs. Like that's like there's been like a big like promotion for that. And even in Vancouver, the tech scene or like the founder scene is really growing. At first, it was just kind of like SF where you go there, you build. That was just kind of like period. That's what it was. But there are like many communities in Vancouver right now. Some of them being like Atelier that happens every Sunday. It happens on UBC campus. It's where founders co-work together. Then there's Novus on Saturdays. There's Atelier that have their thing on Tuesday, and they're founders of Atelier are starting this thing called V2, which is going to be Vancouver's first hacker house. So 8 people every 4 months go into the hacker house and you just like go full time on what you want to build. So and then their main targets audience is also university students. Even we had a VC guy from a VC fly to Vancouver was it a week or two ago, and they primarily invest in students. And you don't even need to like have something like even have an idea. They invest more in people. And because you're a student, they know you can learn and you are the fastest to adapt. So you're like a 20-year-old entrepreneur is probably much better than a 40-year-old entrepreneur because you might know less, but you'll learn faster. So there is a big, big shift towards that. And especially with the internship scene, what I've been seeing on LinkedIn is like if you can't start to find an internship, you'll start your own thing. Kind of like that's becoming a big thing. Everyone kind of has the founder
Yeah.
title on their LinkedIn now. There's a big shift towards that. And with AI, it's honestly it's kind of weird because you kind of can't build anything. You can think of any software and you can do it. Like I'm in computer science, but I don't know like when was the last time I like genuinely just sat down and wrote a line of code. Like even like when like Claude or GPT gave me the response, I'm like, no, just give me the full code. I don't even want to like go copy paste the parts. I just copy the whole thing. So, and you can make really, really good software with that. Like, so we're like in the process of building a few pieces of software for Intern Insider, and like I build it, I'm like this is actually really useful. And without AI, like never I could build that. But now it kind of like enables you that if you have an idea, you can build it. And
Yeah, man, definitely great answer, right? And you touched on a few different points there, and I want to know a little bit more. So you mentioned that a lot of people wait after they're done college to actually build something, or some people feel like they need to have like a computer science degree to actually build a product. So there's a few misconceptions that you already spoke about. But what have you noticed being a founder that people usually don't know, being an outsider about that world?
well, I don't know if this is actually a misconception, but something that I like, everyone thinks like, oh, like this is like terrible example to say, but like the harder you work, kind of like it will eventually pay off. It's
Mm,
kind of like a rabbit hole that kind of like everyone falls into that like oh if you find an idea and you work on it for so long and it will like definitely pay off but like and it will like become a successful product. I've seen a lot of cases where that's not the thing. Like people are kind of like it's good to again to reiterate I said it's good to make bad products, so I'm all for that. But I saw a kid like the other day they spent like $40,000 for on something to like they paid some developers 40K to build them a piece of software. That's like without having any users or really like anything. And I wasn't in love with the product either. I kind of like was just like, oh yeah, that's great. But it really wasn't. So a misconception would be that you can actually, is this a misconception? I know like entrepreneurs say like, oh, the harder, like if you work hard on an idea, it will work.
Mm.
But I don't think that always ends up happening. And oh, actually, another good misconception is you can only start a business if you know exactly how to make money from it. And if you like, if it's just like a traditional money making business. So every time like I tell them people that I like run a newsletter, they're like, oh, how do you make money from that? But like there are a lot of ways and newsletters can make a lot of money. So just by you growing your audience, you open up so many new avenues of like income. And you might not see it at the beginning, but let's say you have an idea, you're like, oh, I can grow this, but I don't know how to make money from it. Do it because like you'll figure it out. So I think that would be a better one.
That's actually a solid misconception. Like, just honestly, just get started, right? Like, you can figure out things on the way. But
Yeah.
yeah, kind of a follow up on that. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced when trying to build things? Like, how did you get around them as well?
Yeah, for sure. Well, growth is like I think it's like the most basic one. Like it was so weird to me at the beginning. I thought like we will make Intern Insider, it'll be a free newsletter and it'll just go viral. It's like why wouldn't you subscribe? But like it's like you're getting internships like sent to you. You're not doing any work. It's free for you. But that's not even the case. It took us so long to get, well, not so long, but it took a lot of work to get those first 100 subscribers. We posted about it on LinkedIn, Instagram. Like, oh, like I was talking to Kaz, like I think on Instagram combined, we probably have like 3,000 followers. Or like, oh, like 1% of that opts in, like we got like 20 to 30 people. We got like two or three like subscribers from our following. And it's actually like very difficult to get people to even use a free product. We for our first 100 subscribers, we had to crash a NW Plus hackathon, which is like a hackathon provider for people who are from UBC. They organize hackathons, and we crashed one of their events. We pretended like we are participating, and we had to go table by table. Are you looking for summer 2025 internships? Yes, yeah, we made this. Like here's a QR, scan it, it's free. So even if you have a good free product, like just just relying purely on the product itself won't get you anywhere. People are so hesitant and reluctant to try new products, even if it's for free, even if it's helpful. You really have to like try to like resonate with like their try to get it to them the way that will understand it the best. And how that was for us was memes. We show our product like through like some like funny memes on Instagram, and people like that, so they start tuning in through it that way.
Mm.
So marketing is bigger than the actual product. That's kind of like something that I've realized. And that was the biggest obstacle for sure.
Nah, man, that's definitely real. And if you had to go through your professional journey, from scratch, a 17-year-old Ash, what would you focus on? Would you still pursue entrepreneurship? How do you feel about that?
Would you still do dentistry?
Yeah.
100% no. Yeah, no dentistry for me. I hated bio. But well, if I could start again, I would definitely try to do a little bit more during COVID, besides playing
Yeah.
Fortnite. But I would definitely go down the same path, 100%. And I feel like honestly, you can do the most, I feel like, as a high schooler because you have so much time on your hands. And you see a lot of people who start a lot of nonprofits, and I think that's great. So if I was to do it over again, I would go into the entrepreneurship scene, but I would probably start with a nonprofit because you kind of learn all the same skills, but without like as much on the line. Because once you're a nonprofit, you have a lot of like new streams like open to you. Like you can get a lot of like funding. You can even like another minor example is you can get Canva for free. There are like a lot of things. So I would start with doing nonprofits and I would go back into the entrepreneurship scene just because it's just fun. Like
Yeah.
I know it's like Colin from Basic says this, but he says that I've become unemployable about himself. And I like totally get that because once you work on your own thing, it's just so much fun. Like the
Yeah.
dopamine that you get from going on TikTok, you start getting that from just like seeing your subscribers grow or like seeing your product become better or you like fit this code in your own code base for your own product. So it's just like a high that you get from it that like it would definitely make me chase it again if I was to do it over again.
Wow, that's solid. Like, it's definitely a very fun journey. Work aside, or some things you do to have fun in university. You're in your fourth year.
I've had my fair share of like different things I do. My second year, I rush well, the same frat twice on a different frat. So I I do a good bit of rushing back in my prime. Then besides that, I really like just well now it's kind of like shifted from like going out to just going bar hopping, just going to like nice dinners. I'm really like appreciating like also like I guess nicer, just finer things in life. It's just kind of like going to like a rooftop bar, just like enjoying those is nice. I also play the guitar. I recently have been on my Zach Bryan wave, and I've just been learning more of his songs. So yeah, I do that. Like in the future, I probably get back into gaming. It's just like a lot of fun, but right now I'm like trying to like focus like more on other things. But yeah, I have my girlfriend as well, so that does take a good bit of time just hanging out with. Yeah, so nothing like too fun, but just like sports, guitar, and just hanging out with friends. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. And yeah, just to kind of wrap things up for the podcast, right? For someone starting their first project, let them be in high school, let them be in college, or let them be a little bit older. What was your one flat piece of advice to them? This is what you would say to a first person building their first project.
I would say ask people for advice, ask for their feedback, just see like what they think about the product. If they say they like it, great. If they say they don't, still make it because
Yeah.
they don't know better than you, you know better than them. Just kind of like get the feedback, get used to the process of getting the feedback and try to, so instead of like ruling out your idea from the feedback that you get from them, try to like revise the idea
Mm.
rather than just completely like crossing it out. But still build it. Even if you think it's a terrible product, still build it. You will learn something from it. So once you have an idea that you want to invest more of your time in and more of your energy in, you can do it more efficiently. So yeah, that would be my advice.
No, that's excellent piece of advice. Of course, like you really gotta seek feedback wherever you can, as much as you can. Definitely agree with that.
Then
But yeah, that wraps up the podcast. Thank you so much, Ash, for joining us. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, man.
yeah, thank you for having me.
And that's it for today. Thank you for listening to our episode, and we'll catch you at the next one.